There we go. Good evening and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake. I'm so delighted that you're here. Our vision is transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. And now our opening song.
There is and all that there will be, we are one in God. From the smallest cell to infinity, my identity will set me free. From the love that is in me, I radiate light. I am one in God. From the love that is in me, I radiate light. We are one in God. I am God. I am God. I am God. My spaces are God, my cells are God, my energy is God. My fingers form God, my angels are God, my toes step to God. My friends are God, the child is God, my voice sings with God. I am one in God, my arms hold God, my mind is God, my legs run for God. I am one in God. I am God. I am one in God. I am God. I am one in God. My joy is God, my grace is God, my peace and my power are God. My spirit is God, my freedom is God, my source is God. I am one in God. I am one in God. I am God. You are God. We are God. We are one in God.
Yes, the energy of the oneness, the absolute oneness that we are, so important as a thing to remember and to ponder. Well, let's begin our service tonight by acknowledging that the land we're meeting on has been the home of Indigenous people and Indigenous nations long before colonial documentation of time, and is specifically the land of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Haudenosaunee. The territory known today as Toronto is under the one dish, one spoon wampum belt, a peace treaty between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe, and is a mutual agreement between nations for sharing land and resources. The territories that encompass the GTA are under a number of treaties, including Treaty 13 and the Williams treaties. There have been many Indigenous names and words associated with this place, and today it is home to a multitude of Indigenous people, languages, and cultures from around the world. And we are grateful for the stewardship of these lands by our first people. So important to remember that. So as we begin now, we go into meditation, and I want to invite you to just quiet your mind, let the music take you deep, and then we will conclude with a little silence and then into our finishing words. Join with me.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am kinder every moment, every day. And I'm more loving every moment, every day. I will surrender every moment, every day.
And it is in surrender that I find strength and wisdom, freedom. It is in that place of surrender that I discover the power within that is infinite, eternal, that power that moves and shapes all that exists, the energy of creation that flows unencumbered through a clear, loving mind. I awaken to that now. I surrender to that now. And I know that this journey of life and living brings with it multitudes of blessings. And as I live in the flow, as I allow myself to move like water with ease, with comfort, with grace, going the path of least resistance, I discover strength, power, passion. But also I see the power of moving with such effortlessness that the journey becomes easy and beautiful, warm and inviting. Things flow with ease and grace, and all that is desired, all that is required is available. In the moment of surrender, there is peace. There is love. And for all of this, I am deeply, deeply grateful. I'm grateful for this moment, for this day. I'm grateful for this journey, for life, for living, for the magnificence of this moment. And filled with gratitude, love, peace, and grace, I release these ideas into the law of mind, knowing all is well. And so it is. So as we begin today, I have a poem I want to share by Noel McGuinness called Flow. Be as water is, without friction. Flow around the edges of those within your path. Surround within your ever-moving depths those who come to rest there. Enfold them while never for a moment holding them. Accept whatever distance others are moved within your flow. Be with them gently, as far as they allow your strength to take them. And fill with your own being the remaining space when they are left behind. When dropping down life's rapids, froth and bubble into fragments if you must, knowing that the one of you now, many will just as many times be one again. And when you've gone as far as you can go, quietly await your next beginning. The talk tonight is the water of life. And it's interesting to watch water because water takes the path of least resistance. And as we move forward in this teaching and as we come to understand the essence of who and what we are, we soon discover that there are basically two ways of living. We can go with the flow. We can allow ourselves to be moved by this infinite universal energy that is all powerful and allow it to carry us and move us and take us. Or we can live in fear and we can resist. We can hold back, we can withhold, we can allow ourselves to become stuck. And of course, suffering happens when we're living in fear. See, suffering is not a requirement of the life purpose. Suffering happens as we resist the natural ebb and flow of life. In the book, The Art of Abundance, which we've been studying, Dennis Merritt Jones wrote, being in the flow denotes the degree to which we consciously allow energy to pass through our lives. It's a matter of give and take. An affluent life is one that is operating within the law of circulation, inviting abundance to float in and out of our lives in intentional and measurable ways. We have to relinquish our need to know in advance. Okay, so how many of us are guilty of that? I want to know what's coming. I want to know when it's going to come. I want to know how it's going to arrive. And do we do this like all the time? And it's that resistance to simply being. And I remember years ago reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle and that idea of just being without judgment, without deciding, without choosing that something has to be a certain way, but rather surrendering into the energy of the oneness to know that it is carrying me in a way that is positive and productive. And that when I am fearful, I actually constrict that flow. I stop it. It's a little bit like going out to water your garden, but, crinking the hose, folding it in half. The water's there, right? We know it's there. But until we let go, we can't experience that flow. The journey that we're on, and the reason that song by Karen Drucker was so perfect for tonight, is that idea of surrendering into what is. the interesting thing about life is that what is, we can't change that, right? And yet somehow we're always trying to go, well, I don't want that. I don't like that. I want to go over here, right? I might be living in physical pain at the moment, but yeah, I don't like that. I don't want that. And so instead of relaxing into the physical form and experiencing what's there and listening to the messages of the body, we resist it and try to be somewhere else. But that's not possible, because where I am is where I am. What is happening is what is happening. And if I can allow myself to be in it, if I can allow myself to relax into what is, what happens is answers just naturally come. A way forward begins to reveal itself, and it happens effortlessly. See, there's an ease to life when we look at what is, accept it as it is, and then make a choice about what's next. I like to think about sometimes, when something's going on, it's like, oh no, now what? But there's also the idea of, now what? You see, for everything that's happening in our lives, there's a conclusion to what is and something else that emerges from it. But when we resist, when we're living in fear, we actually constrict the flow, we stop the flow, and we end up being stuck where we are. I think it's Buddhists that say, that pain is inevitable. Suffering, however, is optional. And the suffering comes with our holding on, our holding in place, our demanding that we know what's next, that inability to just let it all be. So there's this journey that we're on, that we have an opportunity to begin to live in a new way. And when I think about the water of life, I think about flow. And I think that the energy of water is interesting. You can't easily push it uphill. It requires electrical power to do that. But if you just let it go, what happens is it always finds the path of least resistance. And if we were to live within the universal one, if we were to relax body and mind and soul into this divine energy and allow it to move us, to carry us, to take us, what happens is we would merely be, directing a little bit as we move in whatever direction. We'd go yes to this and no to that, but there would be an ease about it. There would be a continuity to it that will carry us in ways that we may not have realized if we had just allowed ourselves to be present, to know that the universe is a good place, that the universe is intelligent, and that the universe is all powerful. I don't need to control it or manipulate it. In fact, I can't, but don't we try? Don't we try to go, wait a minute, okay, universe, God, spirit, first cause, whatever you want to call it. Come on, this is what I want, and here's how you're going to deliver it. Anybody here ever do that? I know I've been guilty of that in the past. But there's something that happens when we decide that everything that is in my life right now of itself, every event is neutral. It has no power. It's just neutral. Okay. When I accept that everything is neutral, what I realize is that how I look at it, how I perceive it, the label I slap on it is what gives it either a positive or negative connotation. But what if I just looked at it as neutral and went, it is what it is? What if I allowed this moment to simply be without resisting it, without trying to force it, manipulate it, change it, alter it, without screaming at God, like the talk last week, oh God, now what? Instead of blaming, our spouse or our neighbors or our friends or our parents or whoever, and simply sat in the, wow, isn't this interesting? Now what? And now what that is light and open, and now what that says, show me, lead me, guide me, and now what that allows the energy to flow through that conduit that we are, and reveals itself in ways that are powerful and spontaneous and beautiful. What if that was the, now what? What if, when we looked at the people around us and the relationships and the journey that we're walking, if we could give up our resistance to the natural beingness of the person on the highway who's driving 20K below the speed limit, blocking our path. That was me in the past. I'm much better now. I don't get so frustrated on the highway. But we get into that place of almost like, how dare you? Like the person got up, planned ahead, decided, I'm going to get right in front of Rev B and I'm going to block her path. That's what I'm going to do. And the way we behave sometimes is almost like that's what we believe is happening. But think about it for a moment. We are all moving through this infinite energy. We're all part of one thing. There isn't a multitude of things. There isn't 2 or 3 or a billion. There's one thing, one dynamic energy. And whatever we call it, Dedri's song started off calling it, I am God. But you notice she said, I am God, not God is some guy in the sky passing judgment on me. I am that. I am that. The child is that. The journey is that. All is that. And it's simply a word, a 3-letter word. We could flip it and call it God, dog instead. It would have as much power and as much meaning. Well, maybe it would be easier for us to accept it that way than to look at that word that in some cases seems to be charged. But when we take personality off of it, and when we take our history off it, and we choose to look at it as simply 3 little letters that describe something that is indescribable, when we come to recognize that it means energy, it means flow, it means oneness, unity, when we begin to acknowledge it that way, we can take that word and take it off the table. And we can begin to change it. And I know in years past, when I was studying different things, if there was words that bothered me, the one that bothered me most was he. Thinking of God as a person didn't quite fit for me, and especially a male person where I'd had challenges with men in my life. It was like, yeah, that's not going to work. But instead of resisting the material or resisting the story, what I did was surrender into it, and I named it she for a while. And that made me happy. And now it's simply it. I talk about this flow of life, this energy of oneness, this first cause of all things as it. And the reason I use it is because that has no real connotation to it. It's like nothing. And yet, in fact, this divine, this infinite, eternal universe is everything. It is the computers that we're sitting on, or the cell phones. It's the telephones we're on. It is the things that we're reading, the stuff that we're saying. It's the skin that we live in. It is the house that we live in. It is the shoes that we put on our feet. It is the journey that we walk. It's the all in the all. Every animal, every tree, every bit of water, every individual is one. There's only one thing here. And when we live in the flow of life, what we do is we give up our sense of they did this or they did that, or what about them? Can you believe what they did? We give up all that energy and we begin to relax into a oneness, a place of acceptance that I am one with this infinite creative potential. That means that I am one with you and you are one with me. In fact, when I look at you, I am looking at you through me, but basically what I'm looking at is a mirror image. And whatever's going on in me, that's what's going to show up as another person in front of me. They're going to match my energy. And it's like imagining for a moment that if I'm blaming someone in my life for something, and believe me, I have in the past, haven't we all? What's interesting is it's kind of like looking in a mirror and going, scrubbing the mirror, going, come on, I need to fix my hair. What's wrong with this mirror? Well, we're not going to do that. We know we have to deal here. We can't deal there. And so the story is the same when we look at everything that's happening in our world today. Every single thing is created from consciousness. So I ask myself regularly, where's my consciousness? And on the days when I'm a little cranky and a little annoyed or a little whatever, because we all have those moments, I take time to reflect. And I take time to maybe go lay down and do a meditation and just, get out of wherever I am so I can quiet my mind and restore myself to sanity. Because the truth is that whatever I see out there came from in here. So I have to take responsibility. I have to look at myself and go, what in me is resisting life right now? What in me is calling for my attention? What part of me is demanding a change? And so everything in our life is a reflection of some inner awareness, understanding, idea, thought. And so we want to pay attention. And the reality is that life is in constant change. Like everything that we see out here is in constant change. However, that's what's good about it. It's changing. So if you don't like it, well, wait a minute, it's changing. I came from Calgary, and one of the great stories there is if you don't like the weather, just wait a second, it'll change because there's constant change in temperature. But it's interesting to think of all life that way. When we think about, our frustrations and annoyances, where are they coming from? They're coming from an idea, a perception that we hold. There's no truth in it. It's merely an expression of an idea that we believe in, and we can change that. So when we start to see the world from a new vantage point, when we start to recognize that fear is the very thing that constricts, stops, and blocks the good in our lives, we can start to, maybe look at the world a little bit differently. I remember years ago doing the Course in Miracles, and one of the very first exercises is to sit and look around the room and go, this means nothing to me. Nothing here means anything to me. And it takes a while to wrap our brain around that, because we're going, no, that's my book, that's my lamp, it's just energy. It's energy that has been formulated into some sort of matter. But the reality is that too will change, just like our body changes, our world changes, everything is changing constantly. So the idea of being in the flow of life for me is, how is it that I want to live in the world? What is it that I would like to see? What is going on that fulfills and satisfies me? What allows the energy to move? What allows the energy to move? And if I'm blocking it or stopping it, am I willing to take a deep dive into my own awareness and just ask myself, wow, okay, what's going on here today? Because we have moments, we all have moments. So when we allow ourselves to let go, because fear pushes against the natural flow of life. All right. So when we're trying to control the things around us, basically what we're doing is cranking the hose. And then we're asked, as we hold that hose, we're going, now, why can't I water my garden? What's going on with the water? Why isn't the water running? I have to let go. I have to let go. There's a possibility for every one of us when we come to acknowledge that we live, move, and have our being in the universe. Right? That the energy of this all-powerful one, whatever you want to name it, is the same energy here. What I realize is that if this universe is all-powerful, I am powerful, because I'm not separated from that power. That power is mine. It's right here. But what moves it or changes it or alters it? My thinking. My thinking moves the energy. And so if I'm constricted in fear, if I'm anxious and uptight and frustrated and I don't know which way to turn, well, I've cranked the hose. The universe hasn't stopped being available to me. I have stopped being available to it. And so the power, the presence, the mighty flow, the great force of nature that is being me is always there. However, it is my thinking that makes it so. What moves energy into matter? An idea in mind. How did a chair ever come to be? Well, somebody got tired of sitting on a rock or sitting on the ground. They went, wait a minute, I'm getting old. It'd be so much better if I was up off the ground a little bit. So somebody created a chair and a table. And well, all the things that we've created. There's so much. But where did it all come from? From one substance. One substance. There's only one substance. There's only one thing. And that one thing makes itself into everything. And it's done through consciousness. And so when we look at the world around us and we go, oh, it's broken, it's flawed, it's horrible, it's awful, but look at the terrible things that are going on. Okay. What about the person who's the absolute optimist? Who goes, wow, look at the beauty of life. Look at how gorgeous it is. Look at my wonderful neighbors, the beautiful city that I live in. Look at all the great, wonderful things. Who's right? Both. The reality is life is what I see it. Life is what I choose to see. And so when I want to see a peaceful world or a world that is more generous and kind, then that has to come from me. Just like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. And so when we look around, we can resist life, or we can open our hands and welcome life. We can journey forward with a sense of, I live in an abundant universe. All that I have need of is right here where I am. And by opening up to that idea of abundance, and abundance isn't about finances or anything like that. Abundance is health and love. It's peace and it's joy. And it's material, which riches as well. It's everything. And so an abundant life is a life that serves the individual. That when I look at my life, I go, wow, I love my life. That's an abundant life. And that happens when I give up my resistance to the world around me. I don't have to make anybody else bad or wrong. I don't have to look at someone else and go, oh, can you believe what they said, what they did, how they dressed, blah, 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 blah. I don't have to do any of that. I don't have to do any of it, because that is the divine in front of me, mirroring back to me who I think I am. And when I am uncomfortable with me, I'm going to be uncomfortable with you. It's a natural way of being. And many of us are uncomfortable with ourselves. We've maybe been raised with messages of, you're not enough, you did this wrong, you did that bad, how dare you, who do you think you are? All of these stories, none of them true. Just somebody's perception placed upon us. But when we're young, we begin to believe it. And then we journey along going, wow, I must be this really awful bad person. Not true. Every single individual on the planet is created unique and special. Everyone comes here with some special something that only they bring. I have a unique way of being in the world. No one can duplicate it. I am the I am. You, who you are, what it is that you bring is unique to you, and it is essential to the unfolding of the universe right now. You notice our vision statement, transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. You see, as each one of us comes to know who we are, as each one of us comes to love who we are, like who we are, what happens is we begin to view the world in a little bit different way. We're not fearfully trying to get our lot in life. We're not fearfully trying to make somebody like us or love us. We're not fearfully trying to hold on to anything. Remember in the poem that I read at the beginning, he said, be with them gently as far as they allow your strength to take them. And just above that, enfold them while never for a moment holding on. There's a gentleness to life. And one of the things I learned when I was learning how to golf, I'm a terrible golfer, but I do like it. The interesting thing about golf is when I first started golfing, I would grip the club like somehow it was, I don't know what I thought, but I would hold it so tightly that I couldn't get a good swing. And a friend of mine told me two things. One, cut your fingernails because they are too long. But the other was gently, hold it gently. And I think that's a metaphor for life, that if we could just hold ourselves gently, if we could hold the people around us gently, if we looked at all of the experience we had and learned how to forgive and to move on, because we all make mistakes. We've all tripped, we've all fallen, we've all said or done something that may have caused harm to another or harm to ourselves. and we can go through guilt and shame and remorse, or we can go, whoa, I could do that better. And we could learn, and we could choose a new way and a new path and a new level of being that would allow us to harmonize with the world around us and begin to create a greater sense of unity and oneness. We are essential. There's a quote from Emerson: everything in nature contains all the powers of nature. Everything is made of one hidden stuff. Everything. So when we look at the world around us, we get to choose how we treat it, what we think about it, what we do with it. You know, my husband lately has taken to grabbing little critters, little bugs, because I don't like bugs very much. I was in the shower the other day and there was this big, I don't know, centipede or something in there, and I just started screaming. So he comes in with a container and picks it up and takes it outside and saves me from whatever I thought was going to happen with this little bug that was probably more scared of me than I of it. But there's this energy that he has developed of, you know, this is still a life. And of course, you know, I've become vegan, and so I have an idea of life that's important to me. But the life I'm most concerned about is the life of humanity, because we have a way of self-destructing. And I think we can change that. We can begin to love ourselves so much that we begin to love others so much that they start to love themselves so much that they can in turn love me back. That flow that happens, that energy of possibility is always there. John Muir wrote, when we contemplate the whole globe as one great dewdrop, striped and dotted with continents and islands, flying through space with other stars, all singing and shining together as one, the whole universe appears as an infinite storm of beauty. I love that. I love that. It's time for us to review how we show up in life, to review what it is that we desire around life. And I think you could ask just about anybody and they would say, I really want to be happy. I want to experience happiness. If I was healthy, I would be happy. If I had someone to love me, I would be happy. If I had a great career, I would be happy. If I had enough money, I would be happy. No. Be happy. Be happy. Be happy where you are, with what you are, how you are, right in this now moment, and watch what comes as a result of that. It's like a magnet drawing all good. I was on a show earlier today called The Cosmic Prayer, being interviewed by Laura Topper. And in that interview, she asked me about the healing that I had. And what I realized was the healing, although it appeared to be instantaneous, when I thought back, I've been doing morning and evening prayers since the beginning of COVID. And always in those prayers, I pray health. I am health. Every cell operates harmoniously, beautifully, comfortably, perfectly with every other cell. My body is strong, vital, vibrant, perfect, whole, and complete. I say it every day, morning and night, and then whenever other times I'm praying. And I realized when I was in conversation with her that I had actually set the stage for my health, that I had already laid out the groundwork. And when I went to Unity Village, the idea in mind was, well, I can heal this. I can heal myself. But the groundwork had already been laid. The consciousness had been clear for a really long time. This is what health looks like. Every cell cooperating with every other cell. We talk about creating peace in our world. How do we create peace? Every cell cooperating with every other cell. Every human being seeing those in front of them as another divine cell in the universal one. That as we come to know that we are one, We stop fighting and bickering with each other, because it'd be like yelling at the mirror because our hair is messy, and by rubbing the mirror, we're not fixing it. The truth is, each and every one of us is already created unique and special. Every one of us is perfect, whole, and complete. And the diversity of life, the way we process things differently, is actually kind of beautiful. And if we were all exactly the same, there's certain things that would never get done. I think about me and my husband, and Pierre is very methodical, and he reads instructions. It never occurs to me to read instructions. I fumble my way through and then wonder why things aren't working. But he'll do things slowly and methodically, and I'll do things quick and fast and in a hurry. So who's right? Well, neither, both. This and, right? His way is perfect. My way is perfect. And together we found a way to create a harmony in how we do things, and a willingness to be respectful, even when we do it differently. Now, 20 years in, we've got a pretty good system worked out. But the journey of getting there sometimes takes quite a lot of surrender. It's acknowledging that there is a unity. And even with our children, we want our children to behave a certain way and show up a certain way, because, if they don't show up quite right, what are the neighbors going to think about us as parents? The truth is, we can't contain them. We bring children into the world. They're not ours. Khalil Gibran has a great poem about children being a universal part of this universe. They're not ours. We're merely here to bring them in and to create space for them to discover their own uniqueness, their own value, their own worth, their own beauty, their grace. Just like we were brought in so that we could discover that as well. And sometimes we have parents that won't let us spread our wings, and that's okay, because we're adults now. And we can choose for ourselves to be who we were created to be. We don't need to conform to somebody else's idea of who we are or what we are or how we should be. And it's a wonderful journey for us to sit back and go, wow, I'm one with the one. I'm powerful, intelligent. I have the ability to know everything I have need of is already there. And all I need to do is surrender. Like the water, go with the flow. Allow life to do what it does. In the book, The Art of Abundance, he wrote, just as water purifies itself as it flows, so the impure stream of our mental life becomes purified by applied constructive thinking. It may well be that lack of circulation in the physical body is a result of mental stagnation, while mental stagnation is the result of a lack of spiritual perception. There's only one thing going on. One infinite creative intelligence, everywhere present, all powerful, all knowing, and fully available in and through as each and every one of us. I invite you to ponder the idea of oneness, to ponder the idea of inclusivity, of equity, of possibility. I invite you to live in a place of cooperation, collaboration, and community, to discover the beauty, the wonder, and the magnificence of the fellow human beings, animals, plant life. All of it is energy. All of it is this one. Call it God, call it spirit, call it first cause, call it Buddha, Allah, whatever you name it, you can't even begin to encompass the infinite possibility that it is. It is energy. I invite you to just live with it. Live in the flow. Be the water of life. Namaste.
I've seen my share of struggle when I thought that I knew best, when I've sailed through a storm instead of stopping to rest. And it always seems the hardest when I've made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? He doesn't pick a fight, he spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always makes it home just fine. I guess he knows that every storm subsides. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I'll let nature take its course. No more thinking that I know where this river's meant to go. I have railed against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I've felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectation and regret, life has plenty of surprises for me, yeah. I wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea.
Such a beautiful piece of music, that idea of just being like water, allowing ourselves to flow, to simply accept life and be with it. It's really a beautiful thing. Well, at this time, it's that opportunity to share our good and to give a blessing after receiving a blessing. And so join with me as we repeat this offering blessing. Love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, to prosper. It is evidence of my conviction. It does its good and perfect work through me now. And so it is. And of course, there's numerous ways that you can give to CSL on the Lake. You can do an e-transfer. You can go to our website and hit the give link. And of course, you can mail a check to the Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, 38 Kootenay Crescent, Toronto, Ontario, M1J 1R7. And of course, all donations are tax deductible. So those will come out later in the year. I think they come out every February is when we send them out. So again, invite you to participate however you're comfortable. And now we have a couple of announcements. This week, Deja will be my guest on the Joy Show. Her journey has been something quite wonderful, coming here from Mexico and finding her way to the center and into my life, into my family's life, and into your life. And her story is quite beautiful and wonderful. And so I'm really excited about this interview. And that's Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Essential Ernest Holmes. Now, this is one of the core courses, if you're planning on becoming a practitioner, that you must take. So I invite you to register whenever you feel up to it. The class will start on September 15th. Originally, I was going to start it on the 8th, but I thought it might be a good idea to turn around and start on, after our opening, because we're going to have lots of people come on the 12th. And we want to make sure there may be some who want to start taking the classes, in which case the class will start after that. Bye, Cheryl. Also, self-mastery, the emergence of the true self. This is a powerful course of awakening to our real divine nature. And again, this is one of the accredited classes for training to become a practitioner or minister. And it starts on Saturday, September 17th at 10 a.m. And the Ernest Holmes class is offered either morning or night. So depending on your schedule, you can take it at either time. And our founding members club. So we're coming to the end of this. This is the people who have supported this idea since we started. Now, this center actually started October 1st. That's when we got all the legal documents done. Our first service was in January. But people have been donating right since October, actually. So all of the donations that we have received from October 1st to the end of September will all be added up. So if you've given $20 a week for all of those weeks, then you will fit into one of these categories. And we're creating a tree, and on the tree will be leaves that reflect the name of the people who have founded this center through the wonderful gift of tithing. And so we've got the founding members club. There's platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, and it ranges from up to, well, from $1. If you gave $1 in this time, you would be in the bronze. And if you've given, $15,000, well, you're in the platinum club. And it doesn't matter where you are. The idea is that this center is in some way supporting the good in your life. And so you're contributing back to it to ensure its success. That's all it is. It's a natural flow of energy. Money comes in, we use it for the services we provide, for the courses that we offer, for internet and office space and all of those good things. And soon our beautiful home. So again, the giving is a gift that's given with love and appreciation. It is received the same, and it is used in a way that honors the gifts given. So thank everyone who's part of that. And with greatest excitement, September 12th, we will be in the Dawn on the Danforth in the Mariposa Room. And of course, we will continue with our online services for everybody who's out of town. And for everybody in town, we hope you, your friends, your family will come out to support that opening night. Now, we are planning on having a little food, a little get together in the parking lot prior to the service at 6 o'clock. So if you come early, if you come right after work, there'll be a little bit of food and conversation that you can have before the service begins at 7. So bring your friends, your family, your neighbors. Hey, grab strangers off the street. Bring everybody. Let's fill the house. So I'm really excited to be in person, to be able to see all of you, to give you a big hug, and just to have that time together. It's been a long time coming. So that's our great exciting news. So we're going to need some help. So anybody who has a little bit of time on your hand who would like to help, there'll be the setting up of the stage. The room itself will be set up, but we've got some decor for the stage. We want to have some coffee and stuff for after, and we're going to have a little bit of food and stuff gathering in the parking lot prior to our little tailgate party. So if there's anything that you think you would love to do to be part of this great event, we invite you to come and share your gifts and talents, your time with us, and it will be deeply appreciated. So you can give Deja an email at admin@cslonthelake.com, or you can email me at Rev B at cslonthelake.com. Pick up the phone if you like, that works too. And yeah, just touch base if there's something you'd like to do or some way you'd like to participate. We welcome you to do that. And youth group, yay, I'm so excited. I really love teenagers. They have an energy and a vibration that is just so real that that it can be exciting just to spend time with them. So on September 17th here at my home, I'll have my daughter invite her friends. That's probably where it's going to start. And we're going to meet out in the backyard, weather permitting. I have one of my students coming in tomorrow to help me clear all the boxes out of my basement so that if the weather is a little bit rough, then we will have a beautiful space downstairs for the kids to meet. And of course, I'll have food. We'll meet from 6 to 9. It'll be a time of discussing spiritual things and having a bit of food to eat and maybe playing some music, singing some songs, and giving a lesson on the importance of living an authentic life and learning to love yourself where you are. So these are the things that the beautiful teens are going to learn. So 13 to 18-year-olds. And closing treatment. All right, let us join together in consciousness as we close this service. It is with a loving sense of oneness and unity that I close this evening, knowing that really there is one power, infinite, creative, intelligent, everywhere present, all-knowing. And it is that power and presence that is the fuel of life. It is the journey of possibility. And I begin to see now that this power is mine, and that as I relax into it and open my mind and heart to it, I am the conduit of this infinite energy, and all things are possible. Healing of the body, healing of the finances, healing of relationships. All of it occurs with shifting consciousness. By changing my thinking, I change my life and my world. So today I accept that a new day has dawned and that something miraculous and marvelous has occurred. And I'm grateful for all of it. Grateful for the infinite abundance that is flowing in and through this place in the form of humanity and finances and just love and joy. And I know that all is well and good. And for this, I just say thank you. So with a grateful, humble heart, I release these ideas into the law of mind. It is done, and I let it be. And so it is. And now our closing song, Everything New, with Daniel Naiman.
Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. Think I finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've survived many times before. Broken heart and slamming doors. I'll be alright, yes I will, once more, just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
Wow, well, you can unmute yourselves now and stick around for a few minutes so we can have a